العوافي يا جماعة, and welcome to a new episode of تعت مشى مع Brian. So today's episode is going to be kind of a small little refresher episode. And basically what I'm planning on doing today is just going through some of my old notebooks and just reading out loud quotes and pieces of poetry or sentences or some things that I've read before and have really stuck with me, and I've written down into my notebooks so that we can understand them all. And that's also kind of one of the points, or one of the things I would recommend all of you to do, where I started this kind of, I can call it journaling, but it's not journaling. It's more like just having a blank piece of paper with you and just using it as a canvas to express yourself, whether it's in literature or in sketching or in notes or in remarks or in doodling. And it's good because when you write your thoughts on paper, you slow down your head. So sometimes the thoughts that you're thinking about are moving so fast that you don't give yourself time to comprehend. So you write them down, and when you do, you give yourself and your brain the time to comprehend what you're writing down and to understand, whether it's emotional or intellectual or whatever it is, even if it's in the form of drawing or any other medium. So I would recommend for everyone that's listening to this, get an empty sketchbook, copybook, whatever it is, just an empty piece of paper. And it doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be magical pieces of literature. It can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. So I highly recommend that, because the benefits are like the one that I'm experiencing today, which is me being able to pull up all of these old sketchbooks or old kind of mind maps and reading these quotes from. And so the first one we're going to start with is probably my favorite. It's like a little quote from Dr. Seuss, and it goes, "Oh, the things you can find if you don't stay behind." So simple and yet so beautiful. I think it touches on the basis of curiosity and just having the understanding or the ability to always constantly want to push and move forward and discover more, because the things you can find if you don't stay behind. So if you just constantly keep driving forward, discovering new things, the things you can find. So very powerful piece of poetry right there, or a quote, sorry. From there we move on to another one. So this one I will shamefully admit that I don't know the author of this. I heard this on Instagram and it stuck with me. So it goes, "There was never a day so misty and gray that the blue was not somewhere above it. There was never a mountaintop so bleak that some little flower does not love it. There was never a night so dreary and dark that the stars were not somewhere shining. And there was never a cloud so heavy and black that it has not a silver lining." So very profound in a way, where it's kind of urging us to look at the positive or to always endure what's coming, because we know that the light's at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, this one stuck with me pretty hard. And then after that, عندي وحدة بالعربي. So the quotes are there's going to be English. The majority is going to be English, but there's quite a bit of them that are Arabic, and I'll go through them. This one, هيدي عن جد كتير بحبها. هيدي فيك تقول القصيدة الصغيرة كاتبها جورج خباز، وسمعتها أنا من شي سنة ونص، سنتين تقريبا, I think, something like that, and it stuck with me since, so I had to write it down. وبتبلش: "بلدي من ولادتي وفنك يحكيلي عن أيام العز والأيام البخيلة، فنك ذكي ولحنه دافي، وصباحي شيب ليلك الغافي، وصوت الجبل بميتك الصافي يهدر هدر يلون جمر، ويخبر عمر لما فيروزك تغني لي. بلدي من أول ما خلقت وفنك يحكي لي، شمس الدين من عندك بتشرق بمسبحة بركعة بصلاة وبترتيلي، وبركات من السما وهبة تعبي صبر بقلوبنا العليلي. البحر الشجر التراب البشر حتى المدافن فيك بتعنيلي. ليلك عنيد نهارك سعيد، وأجنحة مكسرة يطيرها خليلي. ومهما زعلت عالمعاصي عاصي، ومن السما منصور عالمحنة الطويلة. وإذا عالقهر نسيت صليلك، من جبال زيتونك انت صليلي. مخيف جورج بهالقصيدة اللي كاتبها. the patriotism والدافع نحو الهوية اللبنانية يلي بيذكرها بكذا محل بطريقة كتير سلسة. يعني مثلا مثل لما بيقول ويخبر عمر لما فيروزك تغني، ما في فيروز غير فيروزك. يعني بهالطريقة ورجينا قد ايه انه again هلا هيدي this will fall in line well with the previous episode. بس انه فيروز ما في غير فيروزة لبنان، فيروزك لا يوجد غيرها. شمس الدين من عندك بتشرق بمسبحة بركعة بصلاة وبترتيلة. شو حلوة، بمسبحة وبركعة وبصلاة وبترتيلة على كل الأديان. رائع. بقى حتى المدافن فيك بتعنيلي، وهو عن جد المدافن فيك بتعنيلي. very 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 nice piece of poetry هيدي من جورج خباز. and I understand every time I read it, I understand more and more why this stuck with me يعني. Oh, okay. So also one of the things is that you never know where inspiration is going to come from. So you think all of these quotes or all of these poems, they're not from writers or authors. The inspiration comes from everywhere. So this one specifically comes from Denzel Washington in an interview where he was saying, dreams without goals are just dreams. And ultimately they fuel disappointment. On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency. Because without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish. Profound. And 100% on the money. Without the consistency, without driving yourself forward, without constantly going, yes, no, I need to do this, need to do this, need to do this, it'll never happen. You'll never finish. So consistency is almost, if not more important than the commitment. So dream big, but work bigger, I guess. Yeah, almost worked. I'm not as good of a poet as any of these guys, so don't rely on my words. Oh, again, this one, probably one of my favorite quotes in the world. And it's a quote by Michael J. Fox. So if anyone knows who Michael J. Fox is, you're an awesome person. If you don't, go watch Back to the Future and Marty McFly. From there on, just watch all of his movies. You'll never be disappointed with watching any movie that has Michael J. Fox in it. But also one of the things is that Michael J. Fox, I think he's suffered a disease in his late life. I think it's ALS. I don't know, but he loses motor function control. And so he had to shift away from acting for a period. And in one of the interviews after he started kind of reintroducing himself to the world and being aware of his illness, he says, with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. Wow. So simple and so profound. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. So, as long as you're always thankful, as long as you're always gracious, as long as you always acknowledge the blessing that has been handed down to you and how lucky you are to be just existing, any other problem itself is non-existent, and therefore optimism is sustainable. Very, very powerful from Michael J. Fox. So this one's quite nice. And if the only reward for racing through life is death, then may I forever savor the long way around, stretching myself across every detour and back road. And if the destination is all the same, at least may the journey be a slow and scenic route. Liz Phair. So, in this quote, or this kind of little poem, Liz is just mainly showing us or telling us how to cherish the life we have. We know that at the end, we're all gonna meet up at that same finish line. So, rather than run straight at it, let's deviate and go the other routes and hope that we can have the longest road before we have to reach that finish line. Very well said by the talented Liz. Oh, this one is also very important. And it's by C.S. Lewis. The gates of hell are locked on the inside. Just simple, that's it. And I think what Lewis or C.S. Lewis was talking about here is that a lot of the problems or a lot of the states that we're in, or whether it's depression or anger or whatever it is, we have the key to solve those issues. And therefore the gates to the hell that you're living in are locked from the inside. All you need to do is decide that I need to action and I need to change and I need to do something about this, and you can unlock that door and you can go wherever you need to be. So this is more or less kind of also a statement on the power one can have over their own life, where you can either sit and complain and say, oh fuck, why is this always happening to me, or to actually commit to change and therefore unlocking those gates to the hell that you're living in, or metaphorically living in, sorry. Okay, so again, multiple sources of inspiration. Esther Perel, she's a very famous psychologist, and she mainly works with relationship psychology. And one of this has nothing to do with relationships, but it's just such a nice quote. It's humor is the closest you can get to people without touching them. And I agree with this 1,000%, because getting someone to laugh or getting someone to smile is the best icebreaker you can have. And that's why I always have an arsenal of dad jokes ready to make you laugh. So humor is important, and it's a very, very strong way to create bonds with people before you actually beyond touching them, as she said. So it's quite nice. This quote is by Gebran Khalik Gebran, and it's in English, but also very profound. Although we know Gebran Khalik Gebran and his Lebanese lineage and heritage and everything like that, but he did write in English as well. So the quote goes, "They deem me mad because I will not sell my days for gold. And I deem them mad because they think my days have a price." Yeah, I think it speaks for itself. Appreciating that the genuine value that you have, or the genuine treasure that you have, is time. One of the resources that you can never get back. So, and I think that quote kind of helped me understand the value of my time and how sometimes we get lost in the life that we live in or in the situation that we're in, and we're constantly thinking about this and that and this and that, but always appreciate that the time is the thing that it's the resource that you can't refill. So as Gebran said, I deem them mad because they think my days have a price. Gebran Khalik Gebran was an exceptional human being, and I do hope that one day, and I think I will, of course, I will have an episode dedicated to Gebran and his achievements, whether in Lebanon or abroad, because Gebran Khalik Gebran is someone he's someone that's taught in universities today, and his literature has been translated to multiple languages because of how profound it is. So I'm pretty sure we will soon dedicate an episode to him as well. And we move on to the next quote or set of quotes, and again, multiple sources of inspiration. So these quotes are coming to you straight from the wonderful works of J.R.R. Tolkien, which is Lord of the Rings. So these are quotes from the movie adaptations of Lord of the Rings, but they transmit the same message. So one of the quotes is two characters, so Gandalf and Frodo talking to each other. Frodo says, "I wish none of this had happened." And then Gandalf responds, "So do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do, with the time given to us." Again, just inspiration popping out of everywhere. That's what you have. That's the power you have. You don't have the power to control the world. You don't control what happens to you. What you control is how you react to what happens to you. There are so many factors in life that you have no control of, and things will happen. But the only thing that you can guarantee that you have control of is yourself and how you'll react. So all we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. Very profound. Another quote is, "I didn't think it would end this way." So again, Gandalf to Pippin. And I know these characters sound out of context, but we will have an episode for Lord of the Rings. But even the context is of no matter here for the quotes to kind of send their message. So Pippin saying to Gandalf, I didn't think it would end this way. And then Gandalf goes, "End? Oh, the journey doesn't end here. Death is just another path, one that we must all take." So again, acknowledging the inevitable and kind of using that as a guide or a compass in your life. So see, inspiration can pop from anywhere, mate. And from there, another Gebran Khalik Gebran quote. "Keep me away from the wisdom which does not cry, the philosophy which does not laugh, and the greatness, which does not bow before children." Gebran Khalik Gebran. Wow, man. Come on. Okay, so we'll go through that again. "Keep me away from the wisdom which does not cry," acknowledging emotions and how important they are, no matter how wise we are. "The philosophy which does not laugh," understanding the meaning of life and everything like that, and philosophically delving into life is okay, but also appreciating the laughter that comes in from there. "And the greatness which does not bow before children." So this, I think, is the top line, is that I think that's one of the most important thing in our lives as human beings, is to propagate the future generation and to help them be better. And so the greatness which does not bow before children, it's insane. So again, these are just two small bits of text that Gebran has written, but you can already see how profound he is in his writing. So Gebran, تحياتي إلك يا خيي. And then I'm just shuffling through here to find another one. Oh, okay. So this one's by Fernando Pessoa. It goes, I never tried to be anything other than a dreamer. I never paid any attention to people who told me to go out and live. I belonged always to whatever was far from me, and always seemed to be full of poetry. I only ever desired what was beyond my imaginings. So this is kind of more of a creative mind discussing his ambitions or what drives him. So, and I can relate to this because, so I'll give you a simple example in terms of, for example, sketching. Like when I was going through art school, we had to learn how to sketch and we had to understand the human body and to draw instances that are in front of us. And I learned how to do that, but I never cherished it. I never wanted to do it. I don't see the joy of sitting and having something be in front of me and drawing it or replicating it. But what I appreciate more is having a blank sheet and just drawing whatever fucking pops to mind. It could make sense, it could not make sense. It's just blank canvas and experimenting. And so I think Fernando here is talking about the same thing, where I understand the beauty of what's around me and going outside and experiencing new things, but I also really cherish what my mind can create through my imagination. So it's also a very kind of profound piece of poetry there. And from there, we move on to the next one. Oh, okay, so this is going to be a list of quotes by the main man, who seems to make an appearance in every episode, زياد رحباني. بس لأنه أخته شو بحبه لزياد man. بس I actually wrote these down the day he passed away, and they're not as much poetry as just snippets of things he said that stuck with me. For example, نحن شعب بيشرب قهوة كتير، لازم نكون أوعى من هيك. Witty, fucking witty man. في ناس بينهم وبين الفهم سوء فهم. هيدا رأيك ايه وشو عم بيعمل عندي؟ يعني عن جد مان. الله خلقك إنسان، ليش مصر على الحيوانة؟ فكرنا اللي راح منيح، طلع منيح اللي راح. And the last one هي وحدة كمان. الوعي هو المسافة بينك وبين القطيع. So Ziyad always, not just double meanings, almost triple meanings in every single sentence he's saying. الله خلقك إنسان، ليش مصر على الحيوان يا خيي؟ يعني it's all, what's nice about these is that they're all bits and pieces of wisdom that come to you in almost a very comical sense. يعني هو كانوا عم بيتمسخر يعني شوي عم بيحكي معك هيك انه هيدا رايك ايه وشو عم بيعمل عندي يعني انه just keep your opinions to yourself bro. I didn't even ask for it. انه نحن شعب بيشرب قهوه كتير، لازم يكون اوعى من هيك. معه حق خيي، نحن شريبة قهوه كتير، ليه هالقد مساطيل؟ يعني it's again it's just one of the many things to kind of highlight why Ziyad was a phenomenon that will rarely happen around the world and in Lebanon as well. So Allah يرحم ترابك يا كبير. Okay. So more pieces of inspiration that pop out of everywhere. So we've, on this podcast today, we've talked about poets, we've talked about actors, we've talked about writers, authors, philosophers. And this one comes from a movie. The movie is called Coach Carter. It's about a basketball team. And this is, it's starring Samuel L. Jackson. It's a very great movie. I'd recommend everyone who's listening to this who hasn't watched this movie, go sit down, Watch the movie, you won't regret it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking away so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Massive. So again, it's about shying away from your capabilities, from your capacity, from the light that's inside you. Don't be afraid to show who you are. No matter how weird you think people are gonna say it is. It doesn't matter. Sticks and stones, bro. Be who you want to be. Because you might realize or you might find something that changes you and changes your life and makes you successful, makes you whatever it is, and provides you with a life that you want to live. So don't always shy away, don't hide away because you don't want to outshine everyone. Be who you are, man. And let your light shine. And like it said, as you are liberated from your own fear, your presence automatically liberates others. So again, very profound. And it came from a movie, bro, about basketball. Come on, man. You're not gonna get inspiration like this from anywhere. Oh, and another one from a movie, which is Batman Begins. So I think we will get to a podcast where I'll talk about DC Comics and all the superheroes there. And there might be one just dedicated for Batman. There might be. So we'll see how that goes. But in this one, it's just a conversation between Alfred and Bruce Wayne, who is Batman. And Bruce Wayne says, I wanted to save Gotham, but I failed. And Alfred looks at him and says, why do we fall, sir? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. So, again, you fail, you pick yourself up, you try again. You fail, you pick yourself up, and you try again. And you keep moving forward. So, Batman, whatever you say, buddy, I'm in. And I think with this, we might still have... so this is a list of quotes by Lebanese authors, and I think they've been translated to English. I will probably delve in and try to get them in Arabic as well. Come here. Hey. It's a cat. Ta, bis. Yee. Sure. Come on. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. Hey, baby. Fizan. Come on. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Come on. Hey, babies. Nah, I think he's just too scared. Again, back to the podcast. So أكيد هني مكتوبين probably بالعربي بس أنا لقيتهم وقتها بالإنجليش, but I will dig for them in Arabic, and if I do find them, when I do find them, I'll share them with you guys. So the first is also another one from Gebran Khalik Gebran, or Gebran Khalik Gebran. Do not love half lovers, do not entertain half friends, do not indulge in works of the half talented, and do not live a half life, and do not die half a death. So it's just that. It's as simple as he's stating it. Don't do something halfway. Don't be half friends with someone. You're either genuinely a friend with someone and so he is with you, or they're not. Same thing with lovers. And same thing with life. Don't live half a life. Live it to the max. And so that when you die a full death. So I think death is a recurring subject of this episode, sorry. And I apologize for that, but I think that's what death is, just such a profound instance that even Gebran Khalik Gebran talks about it often. So another one from a Lebanese great, which is Mkhail and Aime. And in this one, it goes, love is the law of God. You live that you may learn to love, and you love that you may learn to live. No other lesson is required of man. And then that is truly profound, I think, as well, because love truly is the answer. And appreciating everything that's around you and using that as a lesson to learn, I think that's also quite great. And with that, I think I've run out of quotes. But I also thought this would be a nice kind of change of pace in the episodes, where instead of blabbering on about one certain subject for almost an hour, just a little short segment where I run you through these little bits of literature that I like. And I hope that you appreciate them as well. But also, that's the thing. The main thing that I wanted to show you is that I never knew what these quotes that I was writing down on my sketchbooks would do later on. I knew that I would always be able to refer back to them to kind of remember what the lesson that they're trying to teach is. But also, one of the things that was a happy coincidence is that I was able to make today's light podcast episode out of that, just taking the time to write down something that's significant on a piece of paper and keeping it with me. And it doesn't have to necessarily just apply to quotes or poems or whatever it is. Just get a notebook, get something. It doesn't even need to be a notebook. It could be an iPad, whatever it is, whatever medium you choose. It could be recording voice notes every day. Whatever medium you choose, just find a way where it's just you talking to yourself, because when you do that, when you sit and acknowledge your thoughts by yourself, you digest them harder, you digest them better, you understand them better, you understand your thoughts better, you understand your emotion better, and ultimately it helps you fine-tune and become a better person. So I highly recommend for everyone that's listening to this to kind of participate in this activity. And with that, نوصل على نهاية حلقتنا اليوم. We're at episode 12 now. Again, I am extremely grateful and thankful to everyone that's here, that's supported, that's supporting, that's listening, that's commenting, whatever it is that you guys are doing. Thank you a million times. And with that, I'll say goodbye وهيك وشكرا.